The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome, everybody, to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Dow's up 259, S&P's up 34, and, of course, pretty light volume so far, so we'll have to see. The market, I think we'll probably get some people wanting to jump on the short bandwagon again, not believing this pop. But my guess is that the hook is set. And if you were short going into this, you were on the wrong side. So we'll see how the market fares in the next hour. But the FOMC meeting, there's kind of like, I always want to do like a little chart where it's like half a jawbone, a quarter of a jawbone, two full jawbones, and rate the FOMC meeting announcements like that. Now, remember, we're also going to have a question and answer system, question and answer session with Janet Yellen, and we're going to have to get through that too. But my guess is that there won't be any real announcements in this or in that second session. And we probably had way too many people short in this market, and we will continue to see how this market sorts out. But we'll see. I'm actually feeling pretty good. We've been buying and buying and buying out of the money calls in the stocks out there, in highly short stocks, and they're starting to pay off. We'll get into that here in a little bit. And let's just check in with the market here real quick and see what Mr. Market's telling me with all this movement. Did we go higher than 204? Is that just stuck? 205. So we got to 212. And now, okay, so now we're seeing the non-believers jump back on the short side because they're sure that this market's going to go right back down to 1972. But my guess is that's going to be very difficult going into the end of the year. Pretty much set the hook. I'll look at the options again tonight. I'm going to be able to tell a great deal more where these option market makers are going to try to push this market. But last I looked, last night, it was 2040. So I could, being up 35 more points in the next couple of days, probably not a big deal, especially with the massive amounts of shorts. I probably could have put 100 charts in my newsletter this morning of charts that look like they were bottoming. And, of course, we've been talking about since Friday of stocks like CCJ and others in this sector, the energy sector, that just looked like they didn't have a lot left to the downside. So most of my plays in the daily newsletter have been out of the money calls. Long term, I am bearish. And we'll talk about some more of that also. In the meantime, you can always give me a call at 877-927-6648. What can you say? People writing funny stuff in the den. 2006 on the S&P cash up 33.5 points, 2.9 billion shares. So again, volume, at least to the upside, with some decent volume. Anything through probably about 3.6 by the end of the day probably means that we've got an end to the huge volatility, and I'm looking for the market to stumble up against the next few days out here. So if I'm acting a little distracted, I've got a lot of positions here, so I'm kind of looking out with one eye, one way. But I had some very interesting stuff happen today. Got another gift in the market. We've been making some big money, and we'll talk about that in a moment. On this day in 1970, actually in about 2 months, maybe a month from now, Representative James Jackson of Georgia rose up and spoke to the then very young House of Representatives meeting in New York City. Now, this is about 45 days from now, but today, Of course, they were voting on something. And guess what happened? In 1970, the first complaint against high-frequency traders. Basically, what a lot of people did was hire high-speed boats to front-run messengers and buying up old debt because they basically came to a deal for financing the country. And that act would raise the market value of the old debt, which was trading in some cases at 10% of its face value. Within about a month, it would go to be about 35% of its face value. So a huge double, almost triple in about 45, 60 days. And that wasn't the first time. And I'll get into it another day, but there was people complaining about the use of Pony Express traders instead of waiting for the mail and everything else to get through. Can you believe that nothing really has ever changed in Wall Street? Complaining about people getting in boats and sailing up the coast, the East Coast, to front run other people, and then even 80, 90 years later, people complaining about the Pony Express mail by horseback to get ahead of other traders. And today we're talking about microseconds. But kind of interesting that we got into that. But this guy, in about 60 days, is going to be the first recorded representative complaining about high-frequency trading and making sure people couldn't get he called them some kind of funny name. Do I have that here? No, I don't. He called them thimble riggers or something like that. But it's kind of interesting to go back through market history and find out that everything that we are going through, people have complained about pretty much before. Not a whole lot ever changes in Wall Street. The U.S. and Cuba are starting talks to normalize diplomatic ties. To me, I've always been against it until we got rid of Castro. But I think we have, I'm actually agreeing with it this time for one reason. We've got apparently somebody that's got a brain. And in the current administration, for the last 2 years, it's been nothing but one giant failure after another. I've been surprised that the current Secretary of State has not been able to cause World War III. He's so inept. But when they started running into huge problems in the springtime, they started looking for somebody new in the White House that could find his rear end with both hands. That person, I don't have his name right in front of me. I remember when he got it done. But there is the fingerprints all over it with somebody with the chops of the 1960s and 70s, big heavyweight in diplomacy. Mr. What's his name? Hard to say. I'm trying to remember his name now. He looked like Dr. Strangelove. Well, I'll think of it. Maybe somebody will post his name in the den. But he was Secretary of State of, 68 to 73? Everybody always goes after him as a world leader. He's still around and kicking. Yeah, Kissinger. That's what it was. I just couldn't think of it. Anyway, this really smacks of somebody as Kissinger. Actually, after the last week of pummeling the ruble, doesn't it make sense that Cuba probably figured out that any cash that they were going to get from Russia was over? In fact, from what I was reading earlier today, the grain and the rice and everything that they were supposed to be sending Cuba hasn't shown up for the last 2 months, nor has any cash. So it's been pretty effective, but I think somebody out there with the brains of Kissinger has gotten a hold of these morons around the administration and straightened them out at least on two things: how to handle Russia, and this looks to me like the next chess piece out here, and that is taking basically Cuba away. Russia had been talking about paying Cuba a huge amount of money to let them dock their nuclear missile submarines in Cuba, a mere, 75 miles away from Florida, and caused the exact same problems we had in the missile crisis of 1962. That was going to be a chess piece for Mr. Putin, and I think what we did today was take that away. Basically, with cutting the cash out of Russia, they can't help prop up these third world horrible dictators. And what can you say? Next country to fall, Venezuela. Maybe we'll get rid of the commies down there, get rid of the commies in Cuba. And I tell you what, I'm thinking more about buying an airplane now and maybe a nice place down on the beach in Havana. Probably around Havana, probably outside. But boy, wouldn't that be nice? And of course, the funny thing is, of course, the first thing you see is a comment by General Motors. Like, I have a feeling they think that everybody with a 57 Chevy is going to buy yet another Chevy after all these years. But it seems kind of weird. Anyway, looks like that may be the end of communism for Cuba. My guess is that there were some pretty good backdoor deals about how this was all going to be. But I'm pretty sure we didn't do this without knowing that Cuba was going to show the Russians the exit out the back door, and probably brought on by Russia not being able to cough up cash and keep Cuba afloat. And we stepped in, and it only took 60 years or whatever. 50 years? 55 years, whatever. I know a lot of people say that it didn't work, but to my thinking, it did. Cuba was a millstone around Russia's head for all those years during the Cold War. They had to support them, and our embargo basically drained the cash out of Russia. So for all those people that say it didn't work, I'm calling BS on you. I think it worked wonderfully, and even if it took 55 years to come to fruition, I suspect that we have a nice checkmate on Russia, at least in Cuba, and my guess probably fairly soon in Venezuela. And if we can just get them miserable Iranians to fall, most of the people there, probably 80% of the population, loves America. It's those 20% of total whack jobs that run the country. And get rid of their nuclear weapons, be pretty happy. Probably the only people upset today are the Israelis, thinking, what do we have to do, attack the United States for them to treat us nicely? Right now, all they're seeming to do is throw us under the bus. But I digress. We were talking last week, I think, about how video worked and the ability to use offline video. Comment coming out of Netflix directors who said offline video is never going to happen. We talked a little bit about how they're changing the codes for every 2 minutes of video that comes across, so you'd really have to spend a long time hacking an hour and 30-minute movie. Some of the other things they do to make it tough. I was saying how I didn't like Amazon Prime's movie service, at least so far, because it was worse, much worse than Netflix for the digital rights management. But we'll be back.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Check out the new look of Tiger TV. Now you can see all hosts, charts, and computer screens live in high definition. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Andy Hecht, Thinkorswim, or Carol Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV. Now, crystal clear in high definition, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't seen the new look of Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we are back and had a good day today. And they had an email from one of my subscribers. Nice call on UBNT. Sold at $3.20. Got a three-bagger. Should have bought at the low end, like you said, at 35 cents. Anyway, we've been talking about probably for 2 or 3 weeks, maybe probably 2 weeks, I guess, that the big money was going to be in some of these out-of-the-money calls in these stocks that just looked like they couldn't go any lower and had huge short interest. I said basically some of these, and we're going to go through one that paid off and one that didn't. I've got about 3 others that look like they're going to pay off wonderfully. So I think we're going to have a big options expiration payoff at least this month in the newsletter. We had a big one in September, probably a little easier to play than this one. This one was a little tougher, seeing how it was going to come out. We're going to get to some of the reasons why I was buying these out-of-the-money calls. In fact, all the way up through this morning, where I got a gift on one of them. But the one we closed out today, I think I briefly mentioned it yesterday, was Ubiquity Networks, UBNT. These guys make basically access points. So if you go into a Starbucks or something, whatever your Wi-Fi is connecting to is that access point. Anyway, they make these access points for inside of buildings and warehouses and inside of Starbucks and Targets and all the other things. So they're $100-150, but they make the absolute best ones. I know they're probably a little bit more technical than most people want for home, but for business, they are the top of the line unit. And I used one for years that basically used Wi-Fi for a mile. So kind of interesting to see this. But the reason I wanted to talk about this is we went long this thing, a week or 10 days ago or something. Started buying out of the money calls at the 30 strike price. And the reason I did was this thing came down, closed below its lows. But every time, if you would watch this thing intraday, you could see that every time it ticked down 10, 20 cents, there was somebody there buying huge quantities. This thing had a 14-day to cover short ratio on it. So there was somebody that had a monstrous amount of covering to do. And my guess is by the time they got done, it was going to be back up here and fill this gap. Well, it did exactly what we were looking for. And over the last hour or so, maybe hour and a half, we put out the alert on the newsletter to go ahead and cover. Well, not cover, but actually sell our calls. And got a few from Steve. Steve doesn't say where he's from, but it's Steve H. I'm sure he knows. But anyway, this is what I've been playing over the last, this was our first position. We had some others. Not all of them have been good. What I've noticed is that on equity positions, they've been taking it to hell and back. And we got a gift this morning on that. But when I bought the options back again on one of the stocks we were looking at, actually the options on the stocks we were looking at. But what I do want to show you is that just about every one of these charts out here, I think I showed this when we did go and bought the calls on this one, is probably 95% of these stocks that have gapped down on huge volume at least came back and 80% filled the gap. And I didn't want to stay too long at the party and be the last one to leave. I'm thinking this thing probably goes to $35, but yeah, I'll let somebody else fight with everybody on the last $1.50 on this. On the upside, it'd be nice if I was guaranteed this thing would go to $35. Probably 50-50 chance it hits 35. But you don't want to be too piggy in these. But one of our big winners here, and I've got 3 or 4 other positions in options that look like they're going to do okay. I've got one that's probably going to go flat. Now, some of the other ones that we've seen out here, SSYS, blew through its previous low. I basically bought this thing at about $84 against the main 9th low. It was below that at 3.6 million shares with very light volume. Next day, of course, yesterday, it blows through there. Still not a lot of volume, but I'm seeing that again. And one of the I guess I learned from my mistake yesterday and ended up losing, 4.5% on that particular trade. But I kind of like playing options out here. It's a much better way to limit your losses. But I've been seeing this, and they may come back in the trading range, and then I'll buy it again. But most of these stocks that come down to the lows, the shorts are absolutely killing these guys over a matter of a few days before they get back into the trading range. I probably jumped this one just a little too soon. We'll be back in a bit.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's Nadex.com. or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock in option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Well, they say be careful what you wish for, and if you wanted volatility, boy, do you have it. We're up 31 points at 2003.81 on the S&P cash, 3.2 billion shares. So it is going to be a big day for big volume out here. Yeah, I suspect that we're probably headed up for a Friday close is somewhere between 2040 and 2050. All we have to do is get through a very short 45 minutes with Janet Yellen without her dropping the baby Ruth in the punch bowl. And I have a feeling it's going to be the short squeeze for the next 2 days, actually, through expiration. So we'll have to watch these fairly closely and see what else is going on. But looks pretty good so far. Now, we were talking during the break. Actually, I was talking to Andy, and I saw a bunch of these charts out here that certainly looked to me like commodities had at least quit selling off in sympathy. We've been talking about the first one I saw, which was CCJ on Friday, but a great deal of these stocks coming down on very light volume in the previous lows. Horsehead Zinc was one. I had this in the news. In fact, all these in the newsletter this morning. But one of the reasons why I was so interested in going long this market, but came down, hammered down on 3.6 million shares back on the 1st of October. Started getting back into this mostly on 650,000 shares. Yesterday, what do we have? 400,000 shares. Now, it didn't break the low, so I'm not buying it. But I didn't see a whole lot of people rushing for the exits as zinc came back down to the lows. Same thing with Exo Resources and a lot of these resource companies. They were actually making fairly decent lows over the last couple of days and basically were refusing to go down. On EXCO, we had an October 14th low at $2.12. 9.4 million shares got into it, went below it, closed back above it. So it gave a good signal on December 15th with almost half the volume, 5.6 million shares, got down to 198, but popped right back into the trading range. I saw a lot of these out here like that. On a longer-term scale, some of these stocks are doing exactly what they're supposed to do in the original Wyckoff model. That is, they're bouncing off support on lighter volume. And one of the more interesting ones out here today bouncing is VMware. This thing took off with a monstrous gap. That gap was up on June 24th of, actually July 24th. Of 2013, and it's been kind of bouncing off this level of support for a while. 13.2 million shares that day, and of course, what do we get back down into? Or this is the third time back in here, but 2 days ago, back with 2.2 million shares. Just a lot of these stocks getting to the point where they are pretty much out. As I said before, looking at some of these stocks, including Ubiquity, which we just got out of for probably a three-bagger. We bought calls as cheap as 35 cents and out at 320, 330, something like that, 310. Anyway, nice little pop. Now, you can't expect a whole lot more out of it. These things are probably going to just fill the gap and that's it. But very interesting charts nonetheless. Let's go back here and look. What else do we have? Another one, ProShares Ultra QQQ, another one just came back here and filled this gap, and of course now reversing today. We'll see after how the volume comes in the rest of the day. But the QQQQ, can't quit saying Q. Anyway, this thing gapped up on October 31st, and 3.6 million shares. Now, we had a little bit more volume in here, 4 million shares yesterday, 2.2 million shares today. I don't think we're out of the woods. I'm just thinking we're out of the woods and probably until the new year. So don't get too excited about going on to the bull side. Other ones, T-Mobile. We saw this thing come in with very light volume yesterday and knew its previous low, $24.50, 8.8 million shares. Yesterday, what do we have? 5.7 million shares. So I'm not buying a lot of these, and maybe they dipped down even a little bit more this morning. They certainly are not getting the kind of volume to blow through these lows as you would think. On the bonds, I mean, you've got all the signals you want. I'm not a big bond guy, but boy, you had everything you wanted yesterday in the TLT if you wanted a Wyckoff-style high, and that is the October 15th high at 127.68 getting tested yesterday, 127.72, so 4 cents above it. It closed back just a hair under it, I think 1 penny, but you're now confirmed back here. So interesting. Energy is off, by the way, from that original September 17th leg up to the October 15th high. And you compare that to the November 3rd low back up to the high yesterday. Energy was off, what are you going to call it, 15%? 18%, probably something like that, by using my power law vector indicator number. So not only did you come up there and hit a 37 million share high on 9 million shares, but you also came right back into that gap, but the energy wasn't all that exciting on the way up. Comparatively, let me put it that way, it was okay. But that volume at the top probably told you everything you needed to know. Terex Corporation, another one bouncing along the bottoms out here. Now, this thing got to $26 on October 30th with 7.4 million shares. Even if you want to use a lighter version of that or the more conservative version, you could look at the October 16th low at $25.93. And what did we see in that one? Well, half the volume. Yesterday we had 2 million shares. Today about 1.2. So is this thing going to rocket up? The answer is no, but there were enough of these out here making lows and making signals that made me think that there was a good opportunity to see the reversal out here either yesterday or today. What I did see, of course, is the TBT. October 15th low out here at $46.32, 17 million shares. When we went below it, we've closed back above it. Now, yesterday we got in there with 4.1 million shares compared to 17. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that volume was about 25%. Other stocks of interest out here. What's the SCCO? This was another one that had come back into its gap. Another one of the reasons why I was suspecting we're going to get at least a short-term bounce. And what's crude printing off here now at $56.29. A lot of people are short this crude industry. I think all it has to do is not go down. It could go sideways, and we're probably going to see a lot of the peripheral companies in this sector, that is the Exxons and all that, probably go up a little bit. Everybody's been shorting the dickens out of them and probably going to see a little bit of short covering in them. In fact, I haven't had a chance to look at it. Well, let's look at CCO first for copper. This thing had a nice gap up, but not all that exciting. But did go right to that gap yesterday. Probably the biggest difference is the volume, 3.3 million shares. We did get 4.5 million shares, but it kind of popped off up there. Light volume popped today. Again, I think that we've made a bottom on some of these gaps, but the volume on some of these is not lighter, and I certainly think that SCCO is telling us the longer-term trend, while some of these are actually telling us the shorter-term, i.e. between now and the end of the year. Again, some of these other stocks, like I said, Phillips 66, a good example. This needed 10 million shares as it went through $66.12, the low of October 16th. We had very light volume in these, 4.7 million shares, 4.2 million shares, 9 million shares. So you came close on the downside, but you didn't extend it. It was still a million shares short for the 15th. Yesterday, you had a lower low on 6 million shares, and of course, it started a reversal out there. So I wouldn't have bought it, but there were enough stocks out here that were blowing through lows and not doing it with higher volume. Let's see what else we have out here, because there's so many of them. I just think you guys need to be watching all of these now. NRG Energy, NRG is the symbol on this one. The October 15th low, $26.43. 10 million shares. And what do we have over the last few days? 5.7 million shares, 3.8 million shares, 4.4 million shares, 4.8 yesterday. And, of course, a little bounce out of here on that, but basically half the volume of that October 15th low. Energy was higher on the way down. That tells me we're going to get a small bounce. We're probably going to get some consolidation. This thing's probably going to move up a little bit, and then we're going to get the next move down, and the next move down will probably take out the lows in some of these. But I think with a very, very light volume, we're seeing I wouldn't want to be short this for the next 10 days. Well, let me put it this way, until the first of the year. Noranda Aluminum Corporation, NOR, another one out here making some light volume lows. When I was looking through all these charts over the last couple of days, there was just so many of these things out here that had light volume lows. This one's actually not a bad looking chart. The October 15th low at $3.36, 2.1 million shares. Yesterday you had 567,000 shares as it went through, 2 days ago. Yesterday, what do you have? 1.1 million shares. So still half the volume on that. It's closed back into the trading range today, so pretty good signal that you've got everything that is going down that has. Let's take another quick look at the markets and see. Okay, we're 2001, a space artichoke. So we're a little off. Still up 29 points on the S&P cash, 3.35 billion shares. I almost feel like an auctioneer today. Martin & Marietta, another one that had made some lows out here. Basically looking at the October 15th low on it, 105.09, 1.9 million shares got into that on the 15th with 800,000 shares yesterday with 1.3 million shares, and of course 500,000 shares up today. But compared to 1.9 million shares, 1.3 not enough. And of course this thing's going to bounce up a little bit. Again, I'm thinking we're going to get a fairly nice bounce out here. Leapfrog. Coca-Cola Company, another one out here, made a very nice low volume low yesterday. Again, making me think that this market was primed for a run-in. We're giving back a little bit, 1998.32. I know a lot of people want to short this market. They're probably hopping all over it. We'll have to see. The last 30 minutes are going to be very telling about this market. October 22nd, $40.10 on the Coca-Cola Company, KO, knockout, I imagine. $40.10, 55 million shares, October 22nd. Got into it yesterday with 23 million shares. Now we're really popping back into this. And, of course, it's light volume. I expect that we're going to get light volume. This thing's probably going to take a run up to the gap at $42 from the 9th of December. Candy. KNDI. This is an electric car company in India and China. And another one that's made kind of a nice little low out here on a lighter volume. Again, energy was pretty good on the way down, but not bad. But certainly look at the April 15th low at $10.68. You had 4 million shares back then. Got into it yesterday with 2.1 million shares, up again today on light volume. So I don't think we're out of the woods. I just think we're out of the woods for the next 5-10 days or something. But a lot of stocks out here doing that light volume deal. Illumina, this one has been one of the hotter genomic companies doing DNA sequencing. This thing gapped up on huge volume on the 21st of October of 3.7 million shares. We got back into it yesterday with 1.2 million shares. Not a big deal. This thing's popped. Again, light volume. Of course, we're going to have to look and see what the volume is by the end of the day. A lot of people waiting for the FOMC announcement, so we'll see how that does. Other things of interest out here, let's skip this one. HLF, another one that was basically going against some very big lows out here. Now, the guy that short this went out and was crowing this morning and drove it down. Made a pretty good buying opportunity for somebody. I'm not exactly sure who, but pretty nice. Anyway, he was out crowing on Bloomberg, ran it down, and, of course, it's back up. But pretty good gift out there for some people that had their eyes open. Anyway, the September 22 low out here, $38.63, 5 million shares. Got into it with 2.8 million shares on November 12th. And, of course, we went through that yesterday, or we're in it yesterday with 1.5 million shares. Just wasn't seeing any kind of high volume lows in this particular one, and that they drove it down this morning on dubious news was interesting to me. The Greenbrier companies, GBX, another one of these stocks out here that had very light volume and a nice reversal out of here today. That is the $45.09 low from October 15th, 1.8 million shares. Had high volume, didn't break it though on December 1st. Slammed down, had a little bounce, and now we're coming back down into this with light volume. Last 3 days, 790,000 yesterday, and of course, actually decent day. So a lot of these reversals out here, we're going to try to go through the rest of them before the end of the show. You can always give me a call at 877-927-6648, or you can email me at path@tfnn.com, and we have been emailed, so we'll try to get those into the last segment here today.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge. Formula. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has just announced a special sale for the Gold Report for a limited time only. To celebrate the 660th weekly issue of Tom O'Brien's Gold Report, that's more than 12 years, TFNN is having a special one-time sale. Right now, you can receive 60 weeks of the Gold Report. That's 14 months for only $600. We're offering Tom O'Brien's dynamic weekly newsletter at only $10 a week, half off the regular monthly price. By taking advantage of this special offer, you also get a signed copy of Tom O'Brien's best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, an $88 value. The Gold Report is published every Tuesday and provides subscribers with Tom O'Brien's expert commentary on the industry, as well as detailed information on a variety of mining equities. This offer is valid for current or new subscribers, but is only good through this week and ends this Sunday, December 21st. Lock in the low rate of only $10 a week for the Gold Report by placing your order at the front page of TFNN.com today. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day. Available newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability. Available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And there's a question from Wayne in Texas. He didn't say where from in Texas, but anywhere is probably great. A great state of Texas. Anyway, Intuitive Surgical wondering if there's a good opportunity to short. I don't really particularly want to be short between now and the first of the year. I'd see how this thing sets up. If you wanted to short this, I'd have to wait to see 541.23 and it tested on lighter volume, because I'm pretty sure that you're going to get that tested, and you're not that far away. So you'd have to see that tested on very light volume, have it close back below 541. I can see what you're looking at. I just think you're probably 10 days at least ahead of time on this thing. It looks to me like you're probably going to see this in the 540s in the last couple of days of the year. So take a look at it there. What else do we have to look at here? DaVita. This is another one out here that kind of was interesting to me. This thing was going through a high volume low back on November 7th that had 6.6 million shares, $72.10, got to $72.14 2 days ago, yesterday. 1.2 million shares against 6.6 yesterday, 1.1 million shares today. Not a whole lot, 800,000 so far, but of course a nice bounce back up. And just I can do this all day. Did pretty much the same thing. Citric System, CTX, 0.6 million share low of October 23rd, $60.30. And what'd you have out here? Yeah, you had the low today, $59.39. But again, 1.3 million shares compared to 9 million shares. A no-brainer trade out there for me on a day when the market's up and up strongly. We got enough time to do a few more? I think so. CSIQ, like I said, a lot of these stocks needed to come down and test these previous lows. This thing may be closing back up into its price range today. Canadian Solar, again, I'm not saying going long these particular ones unless they've got 10 or 15 days to cover, which case you may participate in a nice short squeeze in this market. Let me go back here and look at our we're going to close above 2,000, it looks like, today. She's got, another 15 minutes of speaking, then she'll be done, maybe 10. So as we see her quit, my guess is we're going to run back up to the highs of days, which is 12, and maybe even higher on this S&P. You've got a lot of people that probably just reshorted this market, and they've got to be squeezed out before the end of the day. Anyway, not saying buy this, but certainly, you had 3.8 million shares today compared to the May 19th low with 5.5 million shares. Arco Dorados Holdings, which I think is the South, it even on light volume had problem going through the lows. The October 13th low at $5.40, 780,000 shares. Yesterday we had 550,000 shares. And I can go on and on, but I won't. I think we're done for the day. Or do you want? You can always get my daily newsletter and a plays that I think may make you some good bucks, and we certainly are doing that. I have every trade is not going to be a winner, but I think we've got pretty good asymmetrical bets. When they win, they're going to win big and make you some cash. So check out my newsletter. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. Hang on for Tom O'Brien.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman Market Opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.